Hey, what's up? Just want to thank you guys for watching our channel. Please hit that subscribe button. That Chicago team you brought up, Jimmy has said to me before, he's like, if Rondo doesn't get hurt that series, we beat Boston. You guys were the 8 seed. They were the 1 seed.
Yeah.
You guys ended up going up 2-0, ended up losing 4-2 in that series. But that team in particular was always an interesting team to me. I think you guys were 500 that year in the regular season.
Yeah.
41-41. It was you, D-Wade, Jimmy.
And a bunch of young guys.
Yeah. Why wasn't that team a little bit better?
The chemistry. It wasn't there.
Really?
Like I mentioned earlier, Jimmy and D-Wade, they kind of were, on their own as far as, I guess, even in practice, even off the court, which, like, again, every team is differently and there's nothing wrong with that. But there wasn't really a connect, between the old guys and the young. And that was why it was so much friction throughout the year. That year, I was benched for a long time. They made a trade. I got benched that year with Chicago. They said I wasn't getting it done. Had about 3 or 4 different guards starting in front of me. So for me, I just kind of stayed, like I said, stay who I am, stay true to who I am. I was going out playing in Chicago. They call it 150, where we would play basketball. You would run up and down the court and you just score 150. So that was the way I stayed in shape because I wasn't playing. And I wasn't big on treadmill running. That particular part of my career, I wasn't feeling like I was just going to come to the gym and run on treadmill. So I would go in local neighborhoods in Chicago and just play basketball as much as possible. And then again, when my time was called during the playoffs, they called my number back again. And that's why I felt like I had so much to prove and wanted to win that series, and particularly so bad.
Why do you think it's, because I live this too, why do you think it's hard to have chemistry and not just get to the point where you have chemistry, but then not lose that chemistry? Because I was on groups that were together multiple years where maybe you had it, didn't have it year 1, did have it year 2, did have it year 3, then didn't have it. And then once it's gone, it's gone. Why is it so hard in the NBA to just like have it and maintain it?
Lack of leadership. I think lack of leadership, transparency, men communicating amongst each other versus bickering and, people forming groups on certain teams when you're not getting the ball, or when you are getting the ball. So it just, like I said, if we all be men, communicate, sit down face to face and hash it out, I think teams will have a lot better chemistry. There wouldn't be so much, so many teams that have, like, you call those snakes on your team.
I want to wrap up with just your. I like to ask guys about how they viewed their own career, right? Whether while they're still in the middle of it or whether it's at the end. And I talked about maximizing earlier, and I felt like I was maximizing my career. And there's all this discussion. You had to do it that one day on First Take. There's all this discussion on legacy and tiers, tier 1 guy, tier 2 guy, whatever it is. When you sort of look back, especially like prime Rondo, how would you sort of summarize your impact on the game?
Back in prime, when I was prime, I thought I was easily top 3 in the game. I think guards didn't want to play against me. I didn't affect the game by 30 a game. So the ways that you had to control me, or it's unconventional for a point guard like myself to box out, but you had to box me out. Guards that I played against, in that particular time, it wasn't a big deal to box out. So if I would get 4 or 5 offensive rebounds, I'm affecting the game. I'm affecting the game in ways that you really don't know how to control. Whether it's manipulating the game, as far as a guy may have 2 fouls, I may run right into him and draw his third. Things that don't really show up on the stat sheet, but that particular time or that moment, we may go on an 8-0 run now because our players out of the game, because either I drew the foul myself or I went towards that guy, or we attack him as a team to get him out of the game. So it was fun. Obviously, having a hell of a supporting cast. If to say it was behind me or in front of me, however you want to categorize it, with the big 3. And then along with our role players, I would say everyone was stars in their roles. And that's what I took pride in. I didn't want to be or have to be the superstar or the guy that got all the accolades or the knowledge or the TV time. But you were going to compete. You know, it wasn't no nights off as far as how you were going to check me. And if you did, I feel like we pretty much got the win. If you did play the game that way, or if you approached it with that mindset, because we were dogs at that particular time, and everyone wanted to play. We was really scrappy. We got in a lot of fights that year, as far as in practice, because of the way we compete against first and second units. So it's just the games were a lot easier for us. You know, the games were easier for us, and this cliche is to say, but the way we practiced and the way Doc had our mindset throughout the games, and that particular training camp, we went to Rome and Italy. It made the games in that particular season, those years, a lot easier for us on the court.